Okay, so today you're going to be using the image on the right and then drawing it onto white paper. Um, and I'm going to kind of coach you how to find the horizon line and how to estimate how to make this look realistic. Okay. Because it's never quite as specific as they make it out to be. So the first question is where to find the horizon line. Now, the way I know where to find the horizon line is I'm looking for a straight line in here where I'm not seeing the top of anything. Well, where that is it's kind of the desk back here. I'm barely seeing the top of it, so I'm going to guess the horizon line is probably about there, ballpark. So I'm going to go over to where I'm drawing, and I'm going to place in a horizon. And the point on this is that your horizon line needs to be towards the top of your paper. And if I go over to here, the horizon line on this is about there. And again, it's because I'm not seeing the top of something, so that's where my eye level was. Okay. So now coming over to here, I want to start from the bottom and move up. And I'm just going to start out with the objects which are in the object which is in 1-point perspective. So if I go here, the objects of the 5 that are in 1-point perspective is this one, and there's one other. What do you think it is? And this one. This one you could argue is in 2-point perspective, but it would be difficult to draw in 2-point perspective. So we're going to be starting out with this one. And again, in order to draw it, I have to determine where the vanishing point is. Now, I know the vanishing point can't be to the right side. It's not right above it because I see a little slice of that side. So that means the vanishing point has to be, if I bring these orthogonals up, there we go. Look at this. These orthogonals are meeting up there. Let's try this one. This one's going to be off. I know it is. Not too terrible. The vanishing point might, the horizon line might be a little bit higher. So I will change that. But that's roughly where I'm aiming. And the important part to keep in mind here is that the vanishing point has to be to the left side of the box because I'm seeing a little bit of this side. So to simplify that, and if I look at my other 1-point perspective box, look at this. I'm seeing the left side of that box too. So that tells me that my vanishing point is going to be over here somewhere. And again, this is only for 1-point perspective. So let's switch up colors. I have my horizon line. I raised it. And we're going to put our vanishing point, let's put it right about there. Okay. And again, the important part is that wherever that vanishing point is located, the vanishing point has to be to the left of the 2 boxes because I see the right-hand side of both boxes. So from here, I'm going to start out by drawing my bottom box. Shrink this brush down a little bit. And I just see a sliver of the side, so I know it's going to be really close. Let's go right about here. Maybe a little bit farther down on the page. So we'll make it here. I've mentioned many times that I know this is hard, which is why I'm kind of, being redundant on the boxes. Sorry, that's my pug. And then you should draw to the vanishing point. Draw to the vanishing point. I know I'm in the ballpark because I'm seeing that sliver. And then I'm going to drag down. Ooh, look, I got that little sliver. That seems okay. I come across. I go to erase the back. Now, if you don't want to draw all the way to the vanishing point, you don't need to. It's not necessary. We just do that to illustrate it. And this might have to be two sections for the tutorial. Sorry about the pug. All right, so next, I'm going to choose the box to the left because it's easy to build up. And again, the first thing I have to do is determine is that 1 point or 2 point perspective. Oscar. Okay, so this has to be 2 point perspective, and that is because I see the edges closest to me, and I can see that these orthogonals are going off to the sides. Okay. Now, these orthogonals will eventually go off and hit the horizon line. This one will hit over here somewhere, and this one is going to hit off, like somewhere in Plattsburgh, okay? It's going to be way in the distance. So I need to estimate. So in order to estimate, the first thing I'm going to do is I look at this line, and I look at this line. This one's just slightly higher. So I'm going to come on over here. And let's make a little bit bigger brush here. That was a little smaller. A little bigger. Come on. There we go. Okay, so I want to go a little bit above that. I want to get a little bit of space between the two. This looks pretty good. Right about, coming across, right about here. And the bottom is pretty even. So this is pretty even here. Great. Okay, so now I need to estimate going off this direction. Well, to do that, I'm going to go at about that angle, and I'm going to make X marks the spot right there. And I'll put a little red dot there, because that's going to be where the vanishing point and what we're going to aim for. There we go. A bit bigger. And that's what we're going to aim for. Then I'm going to look at this direction. Going that direction. And look at where it's going pretty low in comparison to this one that's going up high on the paper. So let's try to figure out where that one is. And we'll figure that one is right about here. Please mark your vanishing points. I want to see that you've done that. All right. So now I'm going to go back to my brush, and I'm going to get those vanishing points going in the right direction. So this goes to here. About right. I'll tell you it's not perfect. This goes to here. Ooh, we don't like that. It's not going high enough. This vanishing point needs to go up. So, go back to my red. The vanishing point here was, I think it needs to go up to, let's go about there, and this vanishing point, let's go about there. As long as you're able to get a box, I'm good with that. I'm just being really picky because it's the example. So again, I need to start with the middle line. Middle line is about here. Comes down. Then I'm going to need to add another layer. Go to this vanishing point. Go to this vanishing point. Looks pretty good. Go to this vanishing point. Go to this vanishing point. Not terrible. Then I'm going to come down. I'm going to come down for the spacing here. And then I have to do the crisscross applesauce. This one goes there. This one goes there. And then I'm going to go to my eraser. My pug is very active today. And get rid of that. So I'm looking to see, like, are the boxes spaced in the right space? Yeah, I mean, ballpark. This one's a little bit too big. There are absolutely problems. If I was doing this on pieces of paper, I would absolutely be sketching and just looking and sketching and looking and sketching and looking. Okay. So we have those two. This one's definitely a little bit too high. I don't like how high that is. Let me just fix this because it's going to drive me nuts. So I think that to get this completely correct, I would want to put this in here, which is being difficult for some reason. So I guess I'm just going to go backwards. There we go. All right. So now I'm going to work my way up. This one's in 2-point perspective, and this one's in 2-point perspective. But again, the vanishing points are different. So to get the vanishing point on this one, I have to follow this orthogonal and that orthogonal. And you can see how these orthogonals are really never going to hit the same place. So this orthogonal goes up, this orthogonal goes that direction, this orthogonal goes that direction, and that's it. Oh, sorry, and this one goes that direction. So I'd have to estimate those. But again, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my vertical. So my vertical should go right about here. And there's one orthogonal. There's the second orthogonal. And again, if I take a look at this one, that's about the right direction, right? And my orthogonal's here. This one is going to go up about like that. And this one is going to go up about like that. From here, I need to chop off my boxes. And I'd love to see this or do this in person. I do a way better job, I promise you. A crisscross applesauce. This goes that direction. This has to aim towards that vanishing point. And then I'm going to erase my orthogonals again. I'm about out of time, so keep on doing this. See if you can get the other two in on your own. Thank you. 5 seconds. 2 seconds. 1 second.